The South Carolina Hall of Fame was founded in Myrtle Beach in 1973 to recognize and honor contemporary and past citizens who have made outstanding contributions to South Carolina's heritage, history, and progress.
Philip Simmons was a great artist. His medium was wrought iron that graces our city spaces, a unique Charleston building fabric.
Philip Simmons was born in 1912 and raised by his grandparents on Daniel Island in Charleston, South Carolina. As a child, they would send Philip to school in Charleston, which was only accessible by ferry. At the age of 8, Simmons was sent to live with his mother in Charleston and was enrolled at Buste Academy. Walking to school every day, Simmons would pass by a blacksmith shop owned by Peter Simmons. Mr. Simmons was no relation to Philip, but the bright fire and the banging sounds of blacksmiths forging iron fascinated Simmons.
He would stop every evening on his way going back home from school and talk to Mr. Peter, and he said, "Boy, you're too young to come in the shop."
He went back every year, and on his 13th birthday he went running in there, and he couldn't wait to get started.
Simmons would forge horseshoes, ice picks, wagon wheels, and hooks for the backs of wagons. As years passed and automobiles became more prevalent around Charleston, the demand for a blacksmith service diminished.
Dad said, "Well, I have to feed my family one way." So he started repairing all the ironwork, gates and stuff around Charleston, because they had a lot of ironwork around Charleston.
The quality of his work did not go unnoticed. One day, Charleston businessman Jack Krawcheck approached Simmons with an interesting proposition.
Jack Krawcheck told him that he wanted him to make a gate. And he says, "No, Mr. Jack, I don't make gates, I repair gates."
But the idea of creating a gate stayed with Philip Simmons. At home, Simmons sketched out a design of a gate he thought he could create for Krawcheck.
When Mr. Jack came back to the shop, he showed him, he said, "Yeah, that's something I want."
It wasn't long before Simmons was forging gates, window grills, and railings for many homes around the Holy City. Simmons' craftsmanship and attention to detail in his work is recognizable. One of the distinguishing trademarks in his work is a tight, compact scroll.
The way he would pound the hammer on the anvil, to me it was a musical instrument in the hands of Philip Simmons.
Simmons' love of nature also influenced his work. He began adding animals such as birds and snakes into his designs. Images such as animals didn't exist in gates built in centuries prior. His strong faith in God can also be seen in the work, most notably in the gate at the garden entrance behind his church, a garden that was named after Simmons in honor of his contributions to his community.
The children of the community and the school saw him as a father, an uncle, and they would call him the king.
He was very humble, like he couldn't really ever believe that he was famous or that what he did was exceptional.
In 1976, Simmons was commissioned by the Smithsonian Institute to come to Washington and create a gate during the Festival of American Folklife in front of the Lincoln Memorial on the National Mall. The resulting work was the Star and Fish Gate, an elaborate design in which Simmons takes special pride.
And I would say that fish gate means a lot to me because it demonstrates my ability at fish gate because I had less equipment to work with.
In 1987, Simmons completed what is probably the best example of his artistry. It is simply called the Philip Simmons Gate, and it is displayed in the South Carolina State Museum. Simmons combined elements he loved and that represented his home: an egret, magnolia leaves, and a palmetto tree. In recognition of his contributions to South Carolina, Philip Simmons was inducted into the South Carolina Hall of Fame in 1994. In 1998, Simmons received the state's highest honor, the Order of the Palmetto. Philip Simmons died peacefully in his hometown of Charleston. He was 96 years old.
Philip understood the importance of having Charleston as a place where he could display his art. And so that's what Charleston gave him, was his backdrop for his art.
We're proud of the importance of Charleston to the state of South Carolina, and Philip Simmons helped shape that.